Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. I am the Senior Director for Regulations, Policy Monitoring, and Enforcement at Jamaica's Special Economic Zone Authority. In today's episode, we are going to cover linkages or the spillover effects of special economic zones. This generally is a aim or KPI or goal of special economic zone programs, that they have wider economic impact than simply within the zone, and thereby stimulating wider economic activity, wider economic development, wider economic growth. This has been a stated program, for example, within Jamaica's policy and within its law, special economic zone regime, and others, of course. But these things don't happen by chance, and it offers a Jamaica offers a great contrast or a great example of where success, particularly, for example, within our tourism industry, we've had great success with tourism. However, we never programmed or planned for linkages, and we have now made strides and improved linkages, but it was never programmed up front. Whereas with our zone program, when we started off with free zones, for example, we had, as the model was then, it was more about mass employment and getting as many people to work as possible. Now, employment is still a goal of our zone program and of zone programs generally, of course. However, now we have a more of a developmental bent on it, and linkages or spillover effects are critical. So what exactly do we mean by spillover effects? We want to see, for example, that a zone that is being developed, one, local materials are being purchased. So it's not just local labor, but local materials are being purchased and being inputted into, first, the construction of a zone, development of a zone. Second, thereafter, once a zone is open and operational, we want to see certain economic activities, purchases, domestic purchases, not in goods and services, depending on industry, of course, that are within, or industries within the zone, being purchased locally. And those can be wide ranging from things like security, personnel as a service, cleaning services, as well as management services, all kinds of services, and of course raw materials being purchased. But that's the beginning. We want to see further development, and in our policy at the time, it didn't get translated into the law, but our policy at the time had something called a urban support area, and that was the area proximate or adjacent to the zone that we wanted to see the direct spillover impact. So commercial, recreational, and residential areas being there to support the zone. Workers working close by, of course, that also has a positive environmental effect by reducing emissions, but also you would have those commercial activities taking place quite proximate to the zone, from things like lunches, somewhere where workers can purchase lunches, dinners, and such and so forth, to other commercial activity. But also what it means is that it represents an investment opportunity, knowing that a zone will be developed with certain types of industries, is a clear advantage to the local investor community, local developers who wish to, or landowners who wish to participate in some way, shape, or fashion. And even existing areas that can repurpose themselves to fit into the transformation taking place for a zone. So, for example, you may have a zone and I can give you, let's contrast one with goods and one with services. Let's say there is, and I guess a third, which is a service, but it has a goods component. So let's take a call center, for example. Of course, call centers need support. They, of course, need people, and those people need support. So businesses can arrange or position themselves to support that. Now, whether it's providing recreational services, gyms. In this time of COVID, some of these may be a little bit harder to execute, but the point will be made. You could also have daycare facilities. Just and these are just examples. In addition, and that's supporting a service. If you want to look at manufacturing, you could also function as an outsourcer, receiving certain goods or and repairing goods or repairing equipment to service that particular manufacturer. Now, for a service that handles goods like logistics, for example, or a 3PL, third-party logistics provider, they are handling goods, but at the same time, they can have a positive impact on the wider community. And likewise, the wider community can have an impact on those in the zones. 3PL could be outside the zone and provide services for somebody in the zone, for example. So, the possibilities are endless and are wide. But the thing is, these things have to be programmed in. So, for example, we have in Jamaica a policy within the authority called the private urban support area. So we've resurrected the urban support area. Granted, it's not in the law, but it's part of our wider policy. Apologies. And in addition, within the law, though, there is a incentive whereby domestic purchases don't attract our GCT, which is our value added tax, or VAT, which incentivizes purchases from the domestic economy. So that's just an example. Others have done and programmed so that there's wider spillover impact. Costa Rica, for example, one of our neighbors, what they have done is they've set up a situation where companies that export a certain amount or sell to zones of a certain amount annually get the zone incentives themselves. So then it then perpetuates or incentivizes that linkage, but a wider economic development springing from the zone. So those spillover impacts are definitely there. They represent opportunities for entrepreneurs, existing and future entrepreneurs who wish to position themselves, but they would have to first understand what is the zone activity, and then what can they do to support those activities. That's very important. So if you found this episode at all educational or helpful, please like or share, and please comment. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And also, if you could give me some ideas for future episodes, that would be most welcome. Bye for now.